Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel ServiceNow Universe. Hope you all are doing well. Today in this session we'll be discussing about the core company normalization process, and with an example we'll understand what is normalization, and then we'll understand what is the need for normalization data services plugin and how that plugin helps in achieving the normalization, and at the end we'll have demo. Okay, let's understand what is normalization by an example. Let's go to softwares table. As a SAM admin, I want to see how many softwares are used for each publisher in my organization. That's why I have grouped here by manufacturer. Now I can see for Adobe we have six results here, six softwares. For Adobe INC we have nine. For Adobe Systems we have 32. But are these different companies? Adobe INC, Adobe Systems. These are not different companies. Same way, we have Microsoft 192, Microsoft Corporation 11, and Microsoft LLC 113. But are these three different companies? No, this is the same company called by different names here. So what I was expecting here is for Adobe, it should be like 32 plus 9 plus 6, that should be 41. For Adobe we are using 41 softwares, and for Microsoft, it is 198 plus 11 plus 113, that should be 322. Okay, so I was expecting this for Adobe 41, for Microsoft 322. Now when I export this as Excel, or when I export this report, right, so I want to, as an admin, I want to group them manually. Okay, now I want to see Adobe and see Adobe System, these three are same companies, then just add this 32 plus 9 plus 6, and then uh, come to this result. For Adobe we are using 41 licenses. For Microsoft we are using 322 softwares. So here, instead of doing that manually, the system will do that. That is normalization. So what we are telling system is Adobe INC is also Adobe, and Adobe Systems is also Adobe. And what we are telling here, Microsoft Corporation is also Microsoft, Microsoft LLC is also Microsoft. Okay, so let's keep this like this only. After our demo we'll just open this in a new tab, and we'll see the difference here. Okay, so now let's go to the plugins list. Okay, here we have a plugin called Normalization Data Services Client. Okay, we need to install this plugin. When we install this plugin, let's go to core company table. Let's refresh this. In the core companies table, we'll see this normalized field here. Normalized field gets added. Okay, this is one thing. And next thing, we'll get a module here, normalization data services. Okay, normalization data services. Under that will be the important thing is this normalization mapping and normalization company names. Okay, and the properties as well. But let's go to guided setup first. This guided setup is one-time activity. After we install the plugin, we should go through this guided setup. Okay. Okay. So let me click on get started. There are 7 tasks. Okay. The first task is activate the plugin. So we have already activated that. Okay. We can mark that as complete. Okay, now the next activity is download normalized data. This will download the normalization mappings and normalization names. ServiceNow has already stored it in their database. So when we go and configure this, let me just click on configure. So we'll get option to download the data. So if we click on start download, that will just insert the data in these tables: normalization company names and normalization. Uh, Company names and normalization mappings. In this table the data will be entered uh, just when we just download this normalized data. Okay, so we don't want to do that because we are just checking for two publishers here, two manufacturers, Adobe and Microsoft. So we'll create the data manually. So let me mark that as complete. And the third one here is update reference qualifiers. So wherever the core company is referenced, for example, let me go to dictionary, and the reference is company. Company. So we have 2286 records here where company is referencing. So let me open one of this. Okay, so here reference qualifier, there is no reference qualifier here. So when we go through this guided setup, it will try to add the reference qualifier in all the two 2286 records as normalized true. We have the field normalized here on core company, and this field is all these fields are also referring to core company. And when we run this activity, that will be changed, and the normalized true will be added there. So let's just run this. Yeah. Okay, let's start update. So once we complete this activity, right, so that time what will happen is so it will ignore some of the records. For example, if there is some reference qualifier present already, then it will ignore that, and it will ask us to update those manually. Okay, so I'll come back here. It will take some time. So once it is done, then I will come back again here. Okay, that update reference qualifier activity has completed, and it has given us this message. The system could not update the reference qualifiers listed below. So for some of the fields, it has not updated the reference qualifier. So we can see them. Out of 2000, it has not updated in 1442. Okay, in this, because the reference qualifier might be present already, so we need to add the reference qualifier manually there. That is normalized equal to true. Okay, now if we go to the dictionary, we opened it earlier, so we can see there is a dynamic reference qualifier added, that is canonical filter. Okay, and this dynamic reference qualifier canonical filter, uh, it adds the filter that is normalized equal to true. Okay, and if we go to the software table which we opened, and we were checking for manufacturer field, right? So that in that manufacturer field also, the canonical filter is added. Okay, so canonical filter is nothing but a normalized equal to true. Okay, let me close this. Okay, so we'll just close this activity, and we'll mark this as complete. And in to update manually, if we need to update manually in our system. Okay, next one is normalization properties. So it is asking to verify the standard configuration and enable the normalization properties. So let me go to normalization properties. Okay, so we have five properties here. For mainly we want this property is to enable or disable the normalization API. So we want to enable it. So we'll do this. And there is one more here, normalization of existing records. So these records are existing, right? Adobe Inc and Adobe Systems. These are existing records. So we want normalization for those records as well. So for that we need to enable this property. So for now we'll enable these two properties. Now, if we go to core company table, so here you can see for Adobe Inc, and Adobe Systems, the normalized field is false here for all three. Okay. Once we there is a scheduled job. Once we run that job, we'll see this will change. Okay. So let's see that in some time. Okay. The next activity. So let's mark this normalization properties activity as complete. Okay, so the next activity is normalize configuration items. This software is nothing but a configuration item, right? So here we are seeing the six results. After the normalization, we will see only two results: one for manufacturer Adobe, another for manufacturer Microsoft. So this is nothing but the normalization. So it will, for example, this Adobe Inc. After we run that schedule job, this Adobe Inc. will be normalized false. Adobe system will be normalized false, and Adobe will be normalized true, right? So these Adobe Inc and Adobe systems are replaced to Adobe. Okay, for that we'll add the mappings. So we'll see that later in this. Okay. So we'll not run this for now. So we'll run this after we add the mappings. So let's go to a normalized company names table. Let's create a new one. So here, this normalized company names table, we need to add that company name which should be normalized true. Okay, which should be the correct one. So we'll add Adobe, and we'll select the table core company. Okay, and the field is name. Let me save this. And this mappings table will be visible in the related list here, in here. So I'll just add mappings. Okay, now I'll copy the name Adobe Inc. So what I'm saying is Adobe should be normalized true record, and Adobe Inc is its different name, its alias name. Okay, Adobe Inc, and I'll say again here core company and field is name. Okay, let's submit this. And we want to have one more, that is Adobe Systems. Adobe Systems table is core company again and field is name. Okay, let me submit this. So now we have added mappings for only Adobe. We have not added mappings for Microsoft. So let's keep it like that only. And now let's go to this one, normalize configuration items CMDB. So let me configure, just click on configure. Okay, let me start update. And let me just duplicate this tab. Okay, now you see, as we have added the mappings, Adobe Inc and Adobe Systems are changed, and only one we can see here, Adobe. Okay, I think it is sum up to 47, I think. So we have 47 for Adobe, but for Microsoft Corporation and Microsoft LLC, we still can't see the difference because we did not add the mappings. That's why. Okay, and if we go to core companies table, if we refresh this, you can see now Adobe is normalized true, and Adobe Inc and Adobe Systems are normalized false. It's because of that mapping. Okay, now let's add mapping for uh, what we can say for Microsoft. Let's create a new Microsoft, and here let me just add Microsoft. Okay, let me copy this name to add it in mapping. Okay, new, I'll submit this. The next one is Microsoft LLC. Now, one thing you can notice here, after we run that activity, all are changed to normalized true, because all these are individual companies. We don't have any mappings for them. That's why after we run that normalization, it changed to normalized true. Now, when we add the mappings and run that, it will change. These two will be changed to normalized false, and this will change to normalized true. Okay, go back. Okay, let me add one more, Microsoft LLC. Let's submit this. Okay, now for a Microsoft normalized name, we have Microsoft LLC and Microsoft Corporation. So I can run this activity again, normalize configuration items. Okay, I'll start the update. So if I go to this and refresh this, you can see the list is changed now. Earlier the list is like this. For Adobe there are 3 records, for Microsoft there are 3 different records, but now after the normalization, Adobe and Microsoft are different. Okay, now these are grouped by only one name. Okay, and here the SAM admin don't have to do the manual work. The normalization plugin has already done that work. Okay, now we'll mark this as complete. Okay, and next normalize configuration item model. So there is a table called CMDB model, CMDB underscore model. So in this table also we have a manufacturer field here. So to normalize this manufacturer field, we need to run that activity. So currently we will not do that. It is same as what we have done for this normalized configuration items activity. So we'll mark that as complete, and we'll mark this above one as also as complete. Okay. Okay, the next one is this CMDB model is done. The next one is normalized software asset management. So if you have installed software asset management professional in your instance, if you are using software asset management, then you will see this activity. If you are not installed that plugin, a software asset management professional plugin, then this activity will not be visible here. Okay, so if you have installed, then it is listing here which field is will gonna uh, normalize this. There is a manufacturer field on software publisher table. On software custom software product, there is a publisher field. These are all core company references. Okay, so these all fields will be changed like how we changed it on the software table. Okay, so this is a guided setup. Once we have that, we can run the activity and we can mark that as complete. Okay, now let's create a software to check the reference qualifier. Okay. Here, earlier we run that activity update reference qualifier. In that activity, it has added the reference qualifier to the manufacturer field as well, right? Now it should show only the normalized true records here, right? So let me just add Adobe. But you see, it is still showing me a normalized false as well. Adobe is normalized true, but Adobe INC and Adobe systems are normalized false. If we go to core company table and add Adobe. Okay, you see normalized true is Adobe only, but then also we are able to see all three here. It's because of the properties here. Normalization data services. So let me just open the properties. So the first property says the reference qualifier we have added on all the tables, right? That should be enabled or not. Okay, so if I check this and save this, and if I go and refresh this page again, okay, now if I search for Adobe, okay, you will see only Adobe here. The other ones, the normalized false ones, will not be visible. If I search for Microsoft, okay, Microsoft only visible. The normalized false are not visible. But let's just uncheck this to understand this one. Okay, so let me just go here and save this. Okay, this second property is saying when I add, for example, let me just refresh it again. So I'll create a test software. Okay, test, and I'll add Adobe. Okay, as we uncheck that property, we'll see all again. Now I'll say Adobe INC in the manufacturer. Okay, Adobe INC is a normalized false record. If I save this, this will be kept as Adobe INC itself. Okay, but if I enable this checkbox, okay, there is a business rule in the backend that will take care to replace it instantly. Okay, let me just try to create a new record again. Okay, now test 2, we have enabled that property. Now business rule property, again here I'll add Adobe INC. Okay, and if I save this now, this will be automatically replaced. Save. You see that Adobe INC is automatically replaced to Adobe. It's because of this property. Okay, so we must enable these two properties as well. This property will take care of the reference qualifier, and it will show only normalized true records in the core company references referencing fields. And this will take care of the business rule, which if someone adds Adobe INC here from the script, then that business rule will take care and it will replace it to the Adobe. That is a normalized to record here. Okay, and this checkboxes, we need to enable this property for enabling the normalization from the discovery. If from discovery, if we are inserting any CMDB, that case the normalization should take place. That's why we need to enable this property. Okay. Okay, so let me create a core company record now. So for Adobe, we have three entries here: Adobe, Adobe ANSI, and Adobe Systems. Let me create a new one. That is Adobe Corporation. Okay, let me save this and let me go back to the list view. So in the list view, we can see this Adobe Corporation is normalized true because we have not added that to the mappings. Let me open the company name. here if you open the Adobe, then we have only what Adobe Inc and Adobe Systems. We don't have Adobe Corporation. So if I click on new, and let me add Adobe Corporation as well here, and Sydney, and I'll submit this. Okay, now in the mappings for Adobe, we have Adobe ANSI, Adobe Corporation, Adobe Systems. If I go to core companies table, still this Adobe Corporation is true only. Okay, because there is no trigger point to change this, right? This normalize true to false. Now, what we'll do is there is a schedule job. We'll discuss that schedule job. Now we have a schedule job called proactively fix core company references. Okay. Now, when this runs daily at night, now I'll execute it now. Let's see what will happen. Okay, let's go to core company. This is normalized true. Let's refresh this. Okay, you see this Adobe Corporation becomes normalized false here. Okay, with that schedule job. So that schedule job will take care of this normalized field based on mapping. It will just update the normalized true or false, and other than that, it will update the core company references in the SAMP Pro. Uh, Let me open this in the SAMPRO tables. Okay, for example, this is SAMPRO related. So for example, if in SAMPRO, any of the SAMPRO table, we have added Adobe Corporation as the manufacturer or the publisher, and that was active uh, false. Okay, then that will be replaced with Adobe. Okay, so this will not fix the CMDB. Like if in CMDB Adobe Corporation is added, that is active normalized false, then that will not be fixed to Adobe. For CMDB, this business rule will take care of that. So whenever the data is entering into CMDB, this business will take care to not add normalized false record in the CMDB. Okay. So this is all about normalization. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, then please hit the thumb icon and share the video, and add your valuable suggestions in the comments. And if you are not subscribed yet, then please subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you. Thank you very much.